Yo, what's up everybody? Back for another video. We're going to go over the Thursday main slate this time. So posted the early slate video already, so check that out if you haven't already. This video we're going to go over the main slate, which starts at 6:40. It's only 5 games, so let's get right into it. Please like and subscribe as always. I appreciate it. Starting off at pitcher, we have like one true ace on the mound tonight, just like we did on the early slate. On the early slate, Zach Wheeler is a top guy. On the main slate, Luis Castillo is a top guy, and there's not much other pivots with similar upside at all. Like, Castillo has been a dominant pitcher. He's been pitching like a top 10, top 5 pitcher this season. Easily, hands down. He's finally put together all of his great stuff and all the great things that he was pointing to in the last couple of seasons. Everything's been put together this year. He has whopping 70 strikeouts already in just 56 innings. He pitches pretty deep into games. He's gone 7 innings a bunch of times, 6 innings a bunch of times. He has failed to get under 5 innings. So he goes very deep into games. You're a lock for pretty much at least 5 to 6 innings out of him, if not 7. He doesn't give up many home runs, only has 3 home runs. He does give up a decent amount of walks at times, but the strikeouts make up for it. 1.76 ERA. He has not gotten in trouble this season at all. He's been coasting through this year so far. I think it's another, the spot's not great against the Cubs lineup, but he has the most upside. He has one of the only guys on the slate that has high 30-point upside, and so you got to take the raw points with him. The price tag is still decent given the value that we have on the slate today, so I like him. And then I'm going to go all the way down for my second pitcher. I like Eric Lauer. He's only $6,800. The Pirates have one of the lowest totals on the slate, and that makes sense, playing in San Diego at night. Against a lefty, the Pirates lineup is very ugly against lefties. They play guys like Cole Tucker, who hasn't been playing well, Kevin Newman. Their catcher hasn't been hitting. Just the bottom from 5 to 9 of the Pirates lineup is extremely ugly. So he's at $6,800. He's a good price tag. He was very solid through every start this season except for his last start, which was in Coors. As you would expect, a lefty in Coors against that Rockies team would get destroyed. He did get destroyed, but every other start he's been pretty good except for the Arizona game too. So he's been at least double digits in most of his starts. The only thing about him is that he gets pulled early sometimes. So if he's not pitching well, he's going to see like 70 pitches. Like the Padres do not hesitate to pull their starters early, just like the Dodgers. But if he is pitching well, you like to see that he does can touch 90 to 94 pitches. So he does have that ceiling. It's not like he's always going to get pulled at 70 pitches. He has okay strikeout stuff. I mean, not bad at all. 35 Ks and 40 innings. So I think he's a good play given this cheap price tag. All I'm really looking forward for out of him is to get me 2x that price. So get me like 14 or 15 DraftKings points and I'll be happy. So we have about $4,000 left for the bats. At first base, we have a lot of guys that are priced up at first base, like Josh Bell is $5,600. He's been crushing the baseball, but $5,600 is a big price tag to pay. You have guys like Abreu against Stroman, Vogelbach, Encarnacion. You have a lot of expensive guys. I'm going to go cheap at my first baseman today. I like Talise a little bit at $3,600. He's pretty cheap. But I kind of like Marwin Gonzalez a lot just because he's so cheap and he's been hitting the ball really, really well. As you see his game log, it's filled with some good scores. He has a 7 game hitting streak. And in that streak, he's gone yard a couple times. He hasn't been striking out a ton as of late. And he hits at a good spot in the batting order for just $3,500. You can play him in the outfield too. But it's a great matchup here against Eric Swanson. Swanson this season has a 6.35 ERA. He has already given up 7 home runs in just 28 innings. That's a home run per 9 rate of over 2. And he doesn't strike many guys out either. So I think Swanson is in for a long night here against some of these Twins bats. And I like the extremely cheap price tag of Marwin Gonzalez. So he's my first guy that I like. At third base, I love Eugenio Suarez at $4,900. Suarez has been crushing the baseball as of late. He's at $4,900 is expensive, but I do not hesitate to play Suarez against a lefty. As you see his game log, he's been crushing it with the multi-hit games. 1, 2, 3, 4, He has 5 multi-hit games in his last 6 games, and 2 of those games were 3-hit days. He's been carrying the cover off the ball. He has 3 home runs during that stretch, up to 13 on the season. And I'll show you guys the numbers for Suarez against lefties. He's one of the premier lefty hitters in the league. Him, Arenado are the best third baseman hitters against lefties. And Suarez this season is no different against southpaws. He's hitting .290 with 4 home runs in just 31 at-bats. That is a .419 ISO to go with a .710 slugging. And last season as well, last season was his breakout season. He had that was still 2019. So for 2018 season, he had a .320 batting average against lefties. That is over 50 points higher than his numbers against righties last season. That was 150 at-bats, and he had 11 home runs. That gave him a great .273 ISO and a .593 slugging percentage. We know Quintana does give up some home runs and especially does struggle against righties. Suarez is the best righty on the team and the best hitter overall. The way he's been hitting, I like him a lot at this price tag. Even though he's expensive, I think it's worth it. So going with those 2 guys, next up in the outfield, I like Domingo Santana. Santana's 4,700. I like stacking up both sides of this game. Michael Pineda has starting to struggle as of late. Pineda was off to a good start, but lately he's been very home run friendly, giving up a lot of home runs. Gave up 3 against the Tigers. Now is up to 10 on the season in just 40 innings. That's also a home run per 9 rate of over 2. His ERA is starting to skyrocket. He's not missing as many bats as he did earlier this year, so he's starting to struggle. This Seattle lineup has a ton of pop. I like Domingo Santana. Santana has been playing really well. He's been a pretty streaky hitter so far this season. He was off to a great start to the season where he hit well over 300. Went into a slump for a couple weeks, and now he's back to crushing. Lots of high double-digit points in his last 10 games. He has a lot of power. He also has some speed as well with 4 stolen bases. And you can definitely run on a guy like Pineda. So I like him here at 4,700. And last but not least, I like Randall Grichuk. There's so much raw power out of Grichuk against Dylan Covey. Covey's not going to strike you out. He only has like 5 strikeouts in 10-plus innings this season. Covey struggled all of last season. He struggled ever since he's been in the league. Grichuk is the best power hitter on this team. He can just crush the ball. He also has double dong upside too. Even though he only has 7 home runs on the season, we've seen him have some big games with the home runs last year. Playing in Chicago, it's a decent park to hit in. Facing Covey, Grichuk is also a pretty reverse splits hitter too. Last season, he did most of his damage against fellow righties. So that's another good spot for him. He's at a good price tag as well at just $4,200. The Blue Jays have one of the higher totals on the slate, even though the Blue Jays offense is not very good. I definitely think you can attack some of the pieces here against Covey, but Grichuk this season has been a little better against lefties, but last season, he was the same way. He was better against lefties, but the power was much more against righties. He had a .268 ISO against righties last season and a .505 slugging. So, it's not the best matchup because he's not facing a lefty, but against Covey, I think he can do some damage, and he already does have a home run against Covey in his career in just like 2 at-bats or 3 at-bats. So, I like Grichuk here at 4,200. So that's it for the video. Those are the plays that I like. Castillo, Lauer, Gonzalez, Suarez, Grichuk, Santana. My top stacks are going to be Seattle, Twins, Blue Jays. Top 3 stacks on this 5-game slate. That's all for the video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Drop a like if you enjoyed, and good luck today.